The original Sega Genesis Mini is one of my favorite mini consoles, let alone favorite consoles there are, because it was in the middle of that sort of craze where we had the mini consoles, we had the PlayStation Classic, we had the Super Nintendo Mini, we had this NES Mini, we have the TurboGrafx 16 Mini, and so we have the Sega Genesis one, and now we finally have the Model 2 version. We have the Sega Genesis Mini 2. This one came all the way from Japan today. So let's just get this guy cracked open so we can see the unboxing and see what's inside this tiny, cute little box. Okay, so let's get this guy cracked open. Came from Amazon. Very, very compact package here. So we've got an, what is that, an HDMI? No, that's the USB cord for the cable for the controller there. We've got, let's get this open here so we can see everything. We've got the actual console itself right there. I'll save that. We've got the HDMI cord, so we've got another HDMI that we can work with here. We've got the controller and a cable, and then we've got the power supply. So I'm pretty sure the power supply is probably going to be the same as the other Genesis Mini, but you know, it's always good to have more of these power supplies sitting around. And the first Sega Genesis Mini had an excellent game library for it, and this one looks no different. Very, very just nondescript power supply there. I like to keep the box for it out because the box is so damn cool. I don't know how they made this one even smaller, but we've got a 6-button pad with this one, so it's better than the 3-button pad that we had with the first Mini. So that's a big step up, and let's get this guy unwrapped just so everybody can see how long the cable is for this, because I know for some of those, like the NES Mini and the SNES Mini, the controller cable length was non-existent, and so, you know, sometimes you got to sit a little further away from the TV to play, and this one is no different. So we'll see how long this cable is, and you can see how long my arms are. It's not even stretching out, so we've got there to there. It's a very long cable, so you should not be worried about the length of this cable getting in your way. It's not wireless, obviously. I think that adds to the whole package of the thing, you know, is that you don't want it to be wireless. You know, that'd be dumb. You want it to be wired so you can play it. Wish you could play it on a CRT like this, but you can't do that. And for everybody out there that has a Sega Genesis Mini, I do have a Sega Genesis Model 2, and so this is absolutely awesome to see, and here it is in all its glory. The Sega Genesis Mini Model 2. See if you can see inside there. Just, you know, door. And we've got the power switch. We've got a reset button that's actually a nice button. And then we've got controller ports for the first two here. And then, of course, like the first one, you can take these little modular things off and pretend like you're going to slap a Sega CD onto it or whatever. But the actually for the Model 2, you know, it'd clamp on right there, and you'd clamp on the side of it, and then the 32X would go on top here. As for the games list, let's take a look at the back of the box here. And it has games from the Genesis and the Sega CD. And so we've got, let's go through the whole list here just because it's in front of my face. It's got 60 classic and bonus titles. We've got Afterburner 2, Alien Soldier, Atomic Runner, Bonanza Bros, Clay Fighter, Crusader Ascenti, which is one of the big ones on this one because that game is quite expensive. And there's nothing like playing it on the original hardware, and there's nothing like the next level down is playing it on the, you know, the original hardware here with the Mini. We've got Desert Strike Return to the Gulf, Earthworm Jim 2, which is a nice inclusion, Elemental Master, Fatal Fury 2, Gain Ground, Golden Axe 2, Granada, Hellfire, Urzog's Way, Lightning Force, Quest for the Dark Star, Midnight Resistance, Outrun, Outrunners, Phantasy Star 2, which is a good inclusion on this as well, Populous, Rainbow Islands Extra, Ranger X, Rise Star, Rolling Thunder 2, Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi, Shining Force 2, which is another great one to include on here. Shining in the Darkness, another great one to include on here. Sonic 3D Blast, Splatterhouse 2, which is absolutely awesome. I love Splatterhouse. Streets of Rage 3, Super Hang-On, Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challenger. It's not my favorite version of Street Fighter 2, but, you know, can't be all winners here. The Ooze, The Revenge of the Shinobi, Toe Jam and Earl, and Panic on Funkatron, great game. Truxton, Vector Man 2, another one that pushes the Genesis to its limits. Viewpoint, Virtual Racing, and Warsong. And it's introducing Deviant P, Fantasy Zone, Spatter, Space Harrier 2, Star Mobile, Super Locomotive versus Puyo Puyo Sun. And then for the Sega CD games, we have Echo the Dolphin, Echo the Tides of Time, Final Fight CD, Mansion of Hidden Souls, Night Striker, Night Trap, which is fun to play, but not a super great game. Robo-Aleste, Sewer Shark, also not a great game, but fun to play. Shining Force CD, a great inclusion. Sylphied, Sonic CD, and the Ninja Warriors. So you get a very eclectic mix of games here for the Genesis Mini 2. And when you combine it with the Genesis Mini 1, this one is still not that hard to find. Like the SNES Mini is like crazy expensive if you want to get it, especially in the box. The NES Mini, good luck. The TurboGrafx 16 Mini, good luck. The PlayStation Classic you can still find, but I know modders out there like, you know, basically running that one to run all these kind of consoles. But if you just want the original Genesis experience here, you can either get a real Genesis and get the games, or you can get the Genesis Mini and the Genesis Mini 2, and you can have a hell of a good time playing these games. The Genesis Mini 1 is amazing. It's the Model 1 unit, and then the Genesis Mini 2 looks just as good, or if not better, from a games library standpoint. This one includes 40 games. This one includes 60. You get 100 Genesis games between the two of these things, and it plays in beautiful HD, and it has a wonderful, wonderful operating system. So I'm going to make sure to get this as a full review going because, you know, if there's anything wrong with it, we'll figure it out. But until then, this is just the unboxing for the Sega Genesis Mini 2. What do you think of the Genesis Mini 2? Do you have one? Are you getting one? Are you waiting to get one in the mail? I know that some of the people getting this from Japan, it's taking a little bit long, but we've got one. We're going to be testing it out just for you guys. So thank you for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and do all that YouTube stuff because it really helps me out. It helps out the channel to know what you guys want to see. If you want to see a review of the Genesis Mini 2, if you want to see a review of the Genesis Mini 1, if you haven't gotten it and you want to see it, I don't know. But thank you for watching, and from me and the Genesis Mini to you, have a good night.